What's up, everybody? Screech here with a video from Metatron, not Megatron. Um, as you can see from the top left corner and from the title of the video, most likely, I haven't decided what I'm going to title it, or the thumbnail, because I haven't thought about the thumbnail yet. It's a little bit about Destiny and something he apparently just did. I'm not sure what he did. Uh, I've been trying to stay away from politics and everything for the most part, just because, like, if you don't agree with somebody about pinky toes being the toe that needs to be removed from every human being, then you're a vile and despicable creature and you don't deserve to live because you have the wrong opinion type thing. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of anti-politics. Like sometimes I'll say some things that might seem political or whatever, but like I'm not going to be like, oh, hardcore, hardcore, hardcore. That just for the future. But this is about Destiny. Destiny's been reaped, uh, soaked in politics for everything I've been finding out about him as of late. Um, and he has said some pretty despicable things. Like, I can't stand him at this moment in time personally. And I honestly think, and I hate to say this, Hassan Piker's a better person than Destiny. And I don't like that person either. That said, they're both not good people, in my personal opinion, to each their own. This is just based off of the things I've said. A lot of them will say it's out of context. That doesn't matter. You can't say those types of things. That's that. Let's see what Metatron has to say about this, because evil's a very choice word. So yeah, let's get to it.
As you obviously know, we have had a massive event, which was the funeral dedicated to Charlie Kirk in remembrance of Charlie Kirk and all the rest. And it was an enormous event. The numbers are incredible. Now, I know that the whole stadium was full. There were a few 100,000 people.
So apparently there were 2 stadiums that were like at max. There are Super Bowls that have never done that. I'm not for or against Charlie Kirk. I don't like, it is what it is. It was a tragedy that a man lost his life the way he did. That's all there is to it. I'm just against that type of radical violence in our country against each other. Like, you shouldn't be stabbing your brother in the street. That's just how I feel. I know that's not what happened. That's just me saying like an example.
In attendance, which actually kind of put myself and my wife we went into a little anxiety mode, to be honest with you, because I'm like, we're gonna place a bomb or something. Is it gonna be like a shooter? Are there gonna be snipers? But then again, luckily, we felt better when we noticed that the president was going to be there and the vice president, because that of course leveled up the type of security. I think it was like security threat 1, which is the...
Yeah, I will say I'm surprised there was no sort of extreme thing that happened. No type of shooter or IED or anything that was going to appear at that time. Now, like you said, it was security level 1 or whatever, like the highest tier of threat level is for the president. So like that could have something to have done with it. I don't know.
Possible. Still, it was one of those situations. But anyways, luckily nothing happened. Now, it was very long. I didn't watch the entire thing, but I did watch a big chunk of it. And sometimes I just let it play in the background while I was doing my things. I was painting my Warhammer miniatures. I was doing whatever I normally do during the day. And to me, it was a very beautiful event. I watched some of the talks. Some I appreciated. A few were a little meh. But in general, it was a good event. Now, however, the topic today, as you know, is again Destiny. Because seriously, this guy, at this point, like, I always thought he was a sociopath, and I still believe he is. I mean, at the end of the day...
sociopath, I don't think, fits the description anymore. I really don't.
Do remember that Destiny did say that due to the fact that his parents, I believe, are conservative. I don't know if they're MAGA, but I mean, to him, everyone is MAGA anyways. He did say that if his parents got shot during one of these rallies, Republican rallies, then he wouldn't get... He just wouldn't get. In fact, he even said that would be good for him, so he has to pay less for like elder care, I suppose. So the guy's a sociopath.
Again, I disagree with the sociopath thing, Metatron. That to me feels like pure psychopathy. Uh, if that's true, like if he really does feel that way, I think he's lying through his teeth. Like, you know, and I say that only because he's talking about his parents. Like, financially speaking, yeah, it would be a good thing, probably. Like, it sucks to say that. I mean, hell, there was like a 70-year-old couple that just got divorced because the husband's medical bills were so great that when he passes, because he's not going to be able to kick the cancer and he knows that, he doesn't want to saddle her with all his bills. Like, that's disgusting. Um, but that's neither here nor there, as this part of the thing.
Obvious. And the thing is that whether or not you actually believe that what he's saying he actually means, or whether you think that's part of his strategy in order to stay relevant with the algorithm, meaning that he will say crazy shit just because that way people talk about him and then people go and insult him on X and then his posts go viral. Maybe that's the reason.
It's got to
Maybe,
be.
but it doesn't matter because it still is a massive indicator of his absolute lack of any form of compassion, empathy, or anything that makes a human being,
Human,
humane. Now, we've heard him say a lot of horrible stuff over the years, of course, and even recently.
not pre watched, by the way. Not pre watched at all.
Some of his most toxic direct threats and calls to violence been exposed, including on my channel, but a lot of people have been showcasing how much he wants to genocide conservatives on the street, his words. And one of the things that we can say is that he has learned nothing. He has learned nothing in the sense that we know that Charlie Kirk got shot because everyone kept calling him a fascist and a Nazi, and then there was a crazy guy who actually believed that and decided to act upon it. And here he is, the 1st of September, and he's posting this as a response to Turning Point and the event published by the White House as they were talking about the funeral.
Yeah, but you could literally do this for Obama when he was first elected. That exact thing. Christ almighty.
Because, of course, if you have a speaker and a large number of individuals, then that makes you a Nazi, I suppose. It's a Nazi rally, at least in his head. Clearly, we have seen that he laughed and found hilarious the assassination of Charlie Kirk, so obviously that's just how it is. He will laugh and dance on your grave, regardless of whether you be centrist, moderate right-winger, full-on right-winger, alt-right, far-right, hard-right. How many freaking terms do we have? Or whether you be a left-leaning guy at this point. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It does not matter because the guy...
Oh, it definitely doesn't matter because he just went after Hassan the other day and like they're both on the same side.
Has zero human decency, and that's clear. But it's always a new low with him. Always a new low. This Charlie Kirk memorial, in quotations, is indistinguishable from a Nazi rally, and fuck anyone who wants to pretend it's not.
Okay, well, again, Obama when he first got elected. Oh, I don't know. Why don't we take a look at the historical pictures of Dr. Martin Luther King?
Says anyone. So it's either you agree with him or fuck you. That's his mentality. That's his mentality. Very different to what I say, right? Because usually what I say on my channel is, whether you agree with me or disagree, you're very welcome here. The only thing I'm asking is please be decent, and I'll be more than happy to go over whatever discussion you want to have a debate. But this is not this guy because he's an extremist. Now look at this one. This is when he decided to
I heard about
continue
this
to
one.
make fun of Charlie's death, regardless of the fact that his family is mourning him. He says, I heard when he died, he fed an entire village full of vampires because so much blood came out of his neck. Truly a hero, even in his passing.
Like he is either rage baiting so hard he gives no shits of who he pisses off, attacks, or whatever, or he's just an insufferable human being who wants everybody to suffer with him. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just with that statement alone, like come on, the man wasn't. Well, I mean, maybe at that point, like because I've lost track of time. Like it feels like it's been months for me already. But like apparently it's been days, maybe 2 weeks. Like Me personally, I'm afraid to walk outside in certain areas because I've said some things and people are going like ape shit in my area. And we just passed open carry law. Yay. I mean, not that that's a bad thing. Again, neither here nor there. Um,
The problem
Destiny has a date with Destiny, and I just hope it's a peaceful one because he is making enemies left and right, and it's not good.
is that people engage with these posts. Now look, this post that he did here, Charlie Kirkman, I don't, by the way, I don't, I'm reading them to you, but I'm not clicking anything. Yet it works. His strategy works because this one got him 36 million views and this one got him 900,000 views. Now, initially I thought he was doing it for the money because, of course, do keep in mind that X pays you every 2 weeks. You get a check. I get it myself. And so more engagement your posts get, particularly from people with a blue tick, the more money you actually make. Because
that's good to know. That actually makes me want to buy the check mark now when I can afford it. Which sucks, but it is what it is. Money's money. Side hustle.
They will be served ads. Now, I believe that he's demonetized on X, though. So let me double check that because I don't want to spread misinformation.
Oh, he's definitely demonetized.
So internet does say so. 2024 Kick streamer is also demonetized on X after posting inappropriate content. Steven Destiny Bonnell has been banned from the streaming platform Kick for comments. Yeah, but I think he's back. It must have not been a permaban. His permaban is definitely the one on Twitch because he doesn't stream on Twitch anymore. I've heard recently that he got demonetized on YouTube, but then again, he always does these kind of statements, so you never know if they are true. He does it on purpose once again. So
I don't know about the details of when this recorded, but I do know as of right now, he's demonetized on YouTube. I don't know if he's permabanned on Twitch. And I didn't even know he was on Kick. So there's that.
In my opinion, if he's still monetized, he's doing it for the money. But if he's not monetized, I think he's doing it to maintain his name, Destiny, in the algorithms. Because if something gets 36 million views, then it's very likely that you will run into it even through other search engines, and that could lead all the way towards his channel. Now, if YouTube also got him demonetized, I guess he's making money now off of Kick, but at this point, I don't even think he even needs money anymore. I mean, with all the lawsuits he's going through, perhaps he still does need money, and I guess 2 ex-wives and the kid.
2 ex-wives? I didn't know he had 2 ex-wives. He's got the kid. I knew about the 1 ex-wife. I didn't know he was 2 ex-wives. And then you got the which should be a federal investigation due to the safety of children and other people of ages under that of legal consent for the United States. Trying not to get banned, YouTube.
Probably still needs money. I don't know if he has made enough money to not need money anymore. I have no idea. But I can see ways in which this could still benefit him directly or indirectly. But even if he doesn't need the money anymore, this is someone who hates the right wing, all forms of right, and all forms of anyone who disagrees with him, to a point that he would do this just to feed himself with the poison he's addicted to.
Yeah, like I said, and he'll also go after left. Like I said, he just recently went after Hassan Piker. Like, granted, Hassan's gone after Destiny, for at least a good reason. See reference below to miners that don't use pickaxes.
Okay. So at this point, I honestly think he just...
No, go back.
Addicted to. Okay?
Because he skipped right over that. Hassan will never be a target because Hassan and other... I don't know how I feel about that. But again, that's him going after Hassan. I
honestly think he just does it because he enjoys it. Because he's a sociopath. He clearly is a sociopath. I'll give him one thing, though. Guy's got balls. Because here is what he did. as it was shared by Drama Alert. I'm surprised he shared it. Destiny defends a transgender audience member after an attendee run. He doesn't care about trans, by the way. I don't believe it for a second. Someone who doesn't care about people getting shot, I do not believe it for a second. It's all a move. It's part of his strategy. It's simply because this is what gets clicks, I guess, from the liberal/progressive side. When you defend...
He has no allies, so he needs to try and make them. That's all that is, Metatron.
Transgender people, and it's easy to figure it out. Do you think he cares if someone like Blair White gets shot? No, because yeah, that's transgender, but it's the enemy. It's a right-winger. So this isn't about caring for people who have gender dysphoria. It's about, usually these people tend to vote left. It's all a strategy. It's all a move on a chessboard. That's what this is. But I'll give him this. After what happened to Charlie Kirk, the fact that now he is going around campuses to talk with, I guess, conservative audience and students, takes guts. Now, I want to make this...
For him, hell yeah, it does, because of how much he says that's so evil. But the thing is he doesn't talk. He waits for you to say something, and then he just screams and screams and screams over you until there's nothing there to be. We saw that on the Piers Morgan show. That's why he's no longer on Twitch, was because of the Piers Morgan show.
Once again, 100% clear. I already said that I don't like Destiny. I'll strengthen it. I despise him.
Not a strong enough word.
However, I do not want to see him shot.
No, he shouldn't be.
I don't want to see him shot. So if anyone on the right wing with a following says, guys, it's time to get one of theirs, then...
No, the most that should happen is he should be brought up on charges for inciting violence and stuff like that, just like any other person that does any other sort of illegal act in America. You know, hate speech isn't illegal. It's really malice in the intentions that happen upon it that's more illegal. Like, you can say all you want that's nasty and hateful, but as long as like you don't really act upon it or make threats or assault, because apparently assault is the threat, but battery is the actual doing it, which is weird because that's verbiage. Again, not part of the thing. The point is as long as you don't make threats or incite violence or actually do harm, nothing should be done to you. The thing is he does instill fear and terror, which is illegal, to my understanding. Not a lawyer. But no, he should be allowed to be perfectly safe doing what he does. But remember, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. So, you know, if he says something out of pocket and somebody, you know, punches him in the face because, oh, he said something nasty to him, well, that's between them. And that's not for us to decide. Obviously, both people would be in the wrong, but that's how the world revolves, you know. Which I do fear is most likely what's going to happen with Destiny, because, like I said, I've seen his quote-unquote debates. He talks for like 5 seconds, and then he hears something, and then he just starts screaming and doesn't let other people speak. He talks and talks and talks and talks and doesn't let anybody get in edgewise, or he yells louder over them until they give up.
I will disagree with you, and I will call you out all the same. Because this is not what we do. This is not the right thing to do. I don't want him to get shot in the head. Just like I didn't want Charlie to get shot in the head. That is a base principle of civility. They should be indistinguishable regardless of having crossed political lines. Not that it's something that he would think that what I just said is gay. That's what he would think. That's the kind of terminology he uses.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't care what he thinks. I honestly don't. Nor do I care what he thinks about me. Nothing. Yeah, I remember this guy going nuts on him completely. And I do get the feeling, but I guess you're getting rage baited at that point. The guy will say something that he knows will get you enraged, and then he gets his viral clips and his viral shorts. So no, if you do go to one of these events, talk normally. And if he says disgusting stuff, That's your position now. You're in a position of moral advantage, and you lose
Yep.
it if you lose your decor.
Yep.
If you can't control your feelings and your emotions. So, if he says something disgusting, answer with reason, logic, facts, and data.
Yep, because
And
he'll
then
lose his
it will
mind.
be his enemies that will have the viral clip. That's how it works. The do your own research guy who actually does his own research, man, it sounds like Freda.
He doesn't even do his own research,
I
though.
find it insane that someone like this really thinks he's the good guy. They are the good guys. The radical leftists really think they are the good guy. While on the other side, what I saw during the funeral event was a woman forgiving the shooter of her husband, displaying true Christ-like attributes. Now, some of you might think, no, it was performative. She did it on purpose, just so that, I don't know, to get new people into...
I think it was performative, mainly because of her speech before that about the fire in this woman and stuff like that and all that. I think it was a smart move if it was performative. Because there's a lot of people who are like, I know that are close to God, that in their opinion, they're close to God, that flat out say they wouldn't have been able to say those words even in fake if that had happened to their loved one.
The whatever the hell turning point. But here's the thing, it's not like she needs the money. You do understand that obviously her husband had a life insurance, and I'm pretty sure that they are going to pay that one, whatever company it is. And it's going to be in the millions. It's going to be in the millions. I know that.
Oh, it's got to be.
And again,
not to mention any money he's made from YouTube, not to mention all the money. Well, I don't know. Is Turning Point nonprofit? But all his YouTube money, all the money he gets made from doing the talks and stuff like that. I'm surprised he didn't write a book. I could be wrong. But yeah, like she and the children will want for nothing. And with how tight Trump seems to be with them, I have a feeling there's going to be more there than to be said. I also foresee her, if JD Vance runs for office, being part of the cabinet.
They will pay it, because if they don't, do you imagine the public outcry if then she comes out and says the company didn't pay 100%?
Oh, if the company refuses to pay, I feel she should lawyer up completely if they have a life insurance policy. Just saying. Like that's me being just me, human. And that would be quite utter bullshit if they did that. I don't think they will, because of how high interest it would be, and two, I mean, what would that? I mean, maybe they could get away with it. I have a life insurance policy on my parents, but it doesn't mention anything along the lines of what happened there. So maybe there's a legal loophole.
She doesn't need the money anymore. So what would be the reason then to put up a performance? What, because Trump told her to? Well, then she's an incredible actress because it looked real. And trust me, we can never truly know if something is real or true. You can look at some body language, I guess, metrics, and try to figure out, maybe in this case, because of how she put her hands, or maybe how she's moving her eyes around, maybe you can figure out perhaps there is a higher chance that this was a lie. But if there is one thing we know it's true, is that she lost her husband. And I truly believe that they loved each other. I believe that. I have no reason not to believe that. So.
And they have 2 kids, and that's why I think it's performative, because I don't think she can truly forgive that person.
A sentence like this would be the hardest sentence to utter, whether you mean it or not. In fact, it's going to be harder to say if you don't mean it, if you actually want him to burn in hell. So I believe her. I trust it. Now,
okay, so I'm not religious, but I will say this. Sorry, Metatron. If you look at it with how religious he was and assume she's just as religious, if not more, there's the whole "it is not my place to judge" part. And it could be that she's come to terms with, it's not my place to judge, therefore I forgive you for your actions, for God will judge you when he sees you. Knowing that in her faith and everything that person is indeed going to hell. In which case, I don't believe that's performative, so to speak. It's looking at it from a very different and more logical aspect based on her religion. And I could see that being the case.
Explain to me how, from the point of view of destiny, a woman forgiving her husband's shooter is a Nazi rally. Yeah, typical of Adolf Hitler to forgive his enemies. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, some people were mentioning
He forgave them with fire.
Trump and the fact that he said that he hates his enemies. I think this is what I'm going to say about this. So there were some people that were saying, hey, we loved it up to that point, but then Trump had to ruin it by basically immediately after she said
I've heard a lot of people saying
enemies. Why did he have to say that he hates his enemies? Because if you remember, if you watch the clip, it's when he says, and I know that Charlie's going to be mad at me from above, but I hate my enemies. And then there were some people that were like, yeah, and then there were...
I do see where a lot of people are coming from, that he shouldn't have gone and said that. That's, again, that's your personal beliefs or whatever. I will say that is probably the most human Trump has ever looked in all of his presidencies, is the fact that he's willing to admit that. That's all I have to say about that.
The people that didn't like that and said it on social media. I'm just going to say this. Trump is a politician. Just like Biden is a politician. Just like Kamala Harris is a politician. Just like Giorgia Meloni in my country is a politician. And politicians speak tactically.
Yep.
Now, I know that everyone, and this happens on the right and the left,
yep,
everyone thinks they are smarter than people in power. Everyone thinks, like, people on the left will say Trump is an idiot while they think they're so smart. And people on the right will do the same. They're like, oh, Biden is such an idiot. Well, Biden at the end, because of medical situations, was gone. But before, if you listen to Biden, how he was speaking like 10 years ago, guy was sharp. Whether you hate him or not, you can say that. But people still will say, oh, he's an idiot. And then you are the smart one, right? But the thing is that politicians don't act alone. Their speeches are rehearsed. Their speeches are crafted. And this applies to the speeches that you listen to, for instance, once again in the 40s. When you listen to balcony speeches by Benito Mussolini, they are extremely theatrical. And what I think that was, when it comes to Trump, was a tactical choice. Because in the audience, you would have had a split sentiment when it comes to the forgiveness and Christian and Christ-like attitude demonstrated by Erika Kirk. You would have had people that are like, God is great. Amen. And be like really moved by what she did. That would be me. I will be among those. But then there are people that are out for blood now, in the sense that they are angry. And when it comes to the anger, justifiably so. And so they don't want you to forgive the shooter. They want the shooter dead.
They want an eye for an eye.
That section of the conservative audience may have not been truly satisfied. They may have not been placated or happy with the forgiveness displayed by Erika Kirk. Therefore, they delivered both. And Trump...
Okay, I could see that. I mean, like you said, the other half would be bloodthirsty. They, like I said, they would want an eye for an eye. And because she's going the passive route, sending Trump to be the bad guy that he always is, allows the other people to feel, okay, I'm not alone, and kind of say it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad. It's okay not to forgive because it's something I couldn't do. Yeah, that's honestly a tactical way to keep the peace in the people.
Was the other side. So she was the wonderful spirit that we look up to, right? And Trump was the one that instead was going to satisfy what people say when it comes to the enemies, when it comes to the hateful people on the other side, right? And mind you, I'm one of those who says not every lefty is like this. There's a fuck ton of them, I'm not going to lie. If they tell you just a bunch of liberals, it's just like a couple of radicals, they are lying to you. There is a lot of them. But not every single person who's in the left, or even moderately to the left, agrees with this. I've got family members who are left-wing, and they are disgusted by people celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. So,
well, the thing is like, there's been a mass exodus of the left. So like, a lot of people that he would say that are on the left aren't evil, aren't even on the left, or don't consider themselves on the left anymore. So like, sorry, Metatron, I don't know how true your statement is, just because of what this has done to the political system at this moment in time.
Keep that one in mind. Let's keep it straight. But
though he's right. There are people who still say they're on the left, liberal, who do hate what happened because someone shouldn't lose their life for having an opinion, regardless of their political beliefs or whatever. Their words. I'm staying out of it.
Trump knew that, and he tactically moved about it and said, no, I hate my enemies. I hate my enemies. And then there was the other guy who said that the shooter will be injected. I think at first I thought it was going to be a firing squad, but I remember one of the speakers saying that they're going to do lethal injection.
I heard firing squad before. This is the first I'm hearing about lethal injection, but I thought the firing squad was considered capital punishment, corporal punishment. I forget the correct term, and illegal. I don't know. Because it wasn't treason. And I believe treason you can still get the firing squad for.
So they said that he was going to die. Maybe it was Michael Knowles, now that I think about it. And so this way, they catered to both sections of the audience. This is my interpretation of what I saw.
I think it's a good interpretation.
Maybe you're a better analyst than me when it comes to political strategy.
I think you're absolutely correct, Metatron, because I would not have thought about it from that perspective of trying to, for lack of better terms, appease the other side.
Let me know in the comments. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Bye. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel, gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth. Proudly presenting the pendant of the noble one. Look at this beauty. Original custom design created by me in collaboration with Viking Jewelry. And it's my way to celebrate all of you, because as you know, I've been calling you noble ones for the last 12 years. Well, this is indeed the pendant of you, the noble ones, who are the custos veritatis, written here in Latin, and it means keeper of truth, because that's the only thing that matters, the truth. Whether
that's why it's called Veritas Serum, when you have the truth serum.
Offends them or not. So, available in both silver and bronze. I think my favorite is the bronze one, but they're both great. And
I know I have a color issue, but that does not look bronze, that looks gold.
This can be bought as a set, as we offer the original Ring of the Noble One, available in silver, bronze, and gold, the bracelet of the Noble One, Silent Oath of Truth, and a more low-profile version of the ring for those who prefer something a little thinner, which we offer also in bronze, silver, 14-karat gold, and 18-karat gold. Use the code NOBLE1 for a 15% discount at checkout, and massive thanks to each and every single one of you, and thank you to my haters for supporting my work.
Sneak peek at the next video. Sneak peek at the next videos.
As you obviously.
But yeah, so he brought in some things I didn't think about. Metatron did. Obviously, there's the things I expected it to be more about Destiny than it was. That being said, I still think Destiny's vile. You can go and catch the compilations, go rewatch the Piers Morgan debate, listen to some of the things he said on stream, and just hear the nasty things. A paraphrased version is conservatives need to be afraid to go outside. That's the polite way of saying it. It's a lot more violent than that. Definitely said a lot worse than that too. But I do appreciate you guys for watching the video. Thank you, Metatron, for having this video. You, like I said, you did enlighten me on a form of thought that wasn't currently in my head at that moment. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Tell me if you want to react to anything in the comments below. I'll take a look at it, and you might see it in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.